20 horsepower Minneapolis is big brother, the 28 horsepower Minneapolis. It is one of the bigger engines here on the ground and is one of the larger engines in the state of Missouri. This one is owned by myself, my brother Jesse White, and Gib Thurman of Emporia, Kansas. Miss Melissa Fox is up there assisting him. Now this one may not look as pretty and ornate as Barry's, but this one we traded another engine for. This one was built in 1920 and was used for a number of years to actually build roads and run a threshing crew out in Salina, Kansas. It was parked in the early 1940s during the World War II scrap drives, and it was sold at auction in probably about 2005, 2010, where it went to Illinois, and we were able to acquire it from those owners, and we fired it for the first time since the 1940s about 3 years ago. This one is an all-original engine. It may look rusty and crusty, but if you get up close, there's remnants of original paint on it. It has many original parts that many Minneapolis engines are now missing. And this one has kind of been a labor of love, and every year you come out here, we'll probably have something new on it. Hopefully next year, a roof. How about a whistle there, Jesse? I need to fix that. Toot toot.
The whole thing moved.
Now this next engine coming through, it looks quite a bit smaller than that 28 horsepower Minneapolis that just came through. We got Mr. Josh Tipton at the controls. This one is a half-scale freelance engine here, made by Mr. Bunch. Now it was pretty common and is still pretty common for people who may not, want the responsibility of having such a large engine to make something quite a bit smaller. They're easier to haul around. They're typically a little bit easier to fire. But you have to use just as much safety on one of those little engines as you would a big engine there. Looks like he's hauling around a little water and fuel wagon there. That way he's got a little bit of extra capacity. How about a whistle there, Josh? Next, we got a Peerless engine owned by Chris Brummett. It looks like Chris and Abby's up there today. This one's been here at the show for a number of years. Actually, yesterday, Chris cooked us some dinner in the smoke box, which is pretty common back in the old days. Put your dinner in there or your lunch, work for a while, and have it ready to go by the time you're hungry. How about a whistle there, Chris? Josh's grandfather, Raymond Sargro, owned the 30 horsepower case that Jeff and Charruth now own, so his family is very familiar with steam. It's kind of running their blood for many years. How about a whistle there, Josh? This one is owned by Toby Wetzel out of Texas. And we got Mr. Joe McKee, joins us from Oklahoma. He's been with us for a couple seasons now, operating it. Now, Joe also built the water and fuel wagon there to pull behind it. And he did a dandy of a job. If you're on the announcer station side, you'll see he's actually got a hand pump there. So he can actually pump water either into the tank or out of the tank, depending on how it's plumbed in. This one too typically sports a front head tank on it as well, which is one of the reasons why he's got the water wagon, but it's out for repairs. How about a whistle there, Joe? Next up, we've got a 1927 19 horsepower Ket Gonnerman. Now this one is a bit of a treat. Ket Gonnerman didn't make many of these 19 horsepower engines in what is called a rear mount design. Now, but by a rear mount, I mean it's how the rear wheels are mounted to the engine. Ket Gonnerman made a lot of side mount engines, but this one is what's called a rear mount. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to explain the difference. This one is owned by Brian and Sarah Field of Stockton. Up on the platform, we got Mr. James Haney. Looks like he has some help up there. This one was sold new in Berger, Missouri, and was used on a sawmill in Stockton, Missouri, up until the 1950s. It was ran up at the Adrian, Missouri show for a number of years, and then Brian brought it down here to Halltown, well then Republic, but now Halltown, and has showed it here ever since. This is a lovely, lovely engine to run. It's actually one that I learned how to run. So, James, how about a whistle there? While I've got a moment here, should anybody be curious or anything like that, the only dumb question is the question that is not asked. So if you guys have any questions for any of our operators, engineers, about how any of this works, feel free to come up to us. We'll be here all weekend. We'd be happy to show you. We like talking about our equipment. It's something we enjoy, it's a passion that we have, and we'd love to share it with you. This one is a lovely engine. I think I've said that about many of them here. They're all lovely. It's a 1917 2070 horsepower Nichols and Shepard. This one's actually owned by the Ozark Steam Engine Association President Dana Erickson and his wife. Looks like we got the Hofstadler family up there. This one was bought from Joe Winter out of Richards, Missouri in 2016, and they've had it at the show since 2018.